This is BTY, and you're watching Fanatics.com.
Domi arigato, Mr. Roboto Domo. Alright, I just figured I'd do something weird. Alright, this is Front Row Fanatics. We're back with our review of Ultimate Wrestling's End of Day shows, and with that all being said, continuing in the review, take it away, Mr. Internet.
I didn't know you liked sticks.
Oh, they're okay.
Yeah,
I like chopsticks.
Beat you with a stick.
Oh, you wish you could hit me with a stick. I'll beat your brains in, boy.
Okay, our next match was the Royal 4 match, and this was pretty much the highlight of the show for me. Basically what this was like a Royal Rumble. Every 40 seconds, a wrestler would come to the ring. They would start with 4, and when it got down to everybody eliminated but 4 people, it would become a 4-way match.
And those 4 guys got a contract extension, with the winner getting like a Money in the Bank type stipulation of a championship shot of his choice at any time.
I believe all 4 of them get a championship match at some point, but
The winner
gets his Money in the Bank.
Well, being a professional, you would know that more than I. Just from a fan standpoint, that's what I understood. But anyway.
Well, anyway, the first 4 entrants into the ring were the Bruiserweight Maze, the Ultimate Wrestling X Factor champion, Carlos D'Angelo, BTY, Colby Godwin, and a returning Amish Assassin. It's always good when the Amish Assassin's there. I'm glad to see he's back. He had what I believe was a very bad knee injury, so it was good to see him back. And from this point on, it was bedlam. You know, some notable entries were, I saw the Invasion come in with Doug Pitt and T.A. Jones.
Right, and they continued their bitter feud against each other in the ring.
I believe Jerry Reiner and Justin Cruz eliminated T.A. Jones, and then they were on the outside, and Doug Pitt eliminated himself by doing a suicide dive over the top rope on them.
Just to get at the Invasion.
That was very stupid of him.
Well, you know, sometimes you got to think.
It's the heat of the moment. He let his head get to him.
Right. The A-lister was in it as well, Brian Cage, as was the Black Wolf.
Oh!
Don't remind me.
Speaking of the Black Wolf, as this Royal Rumble Royal 4 match continued, I believe the Black Wolf made it to the Final 4, which means he got a contract extension, so his career is not over, loser boy. Yeah. What you got to say to that?
He got very lucky, because I ended his career earlier in the night. He shouldn't have even been in the damn match.
Well, that's a management issue you got to take up there with Big Daddy. And by the way, this right here, I see your little funny man comment up there. You're lucky. I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it outside. I'm going to wipe my ass with it.
Right.
What do you think about that?
What are you going to do?
Well, let's try to keep some order restored.
I'm going to push you out.
Hey, security.
What you think about that?
Holy shit.
I'll poke you in your
Fans, we'll be right back. Security. Man, now he's never going to come back. You know, you can't be running guests off like that.
Who cares? Stinking bromance, you and Brian Cage, and God, I'm glad Painlord's not here, because he'd be bromancing on him too. You guys make me ill, man. You make me ill.
He's going to take me for a ride in the limo. Geez.
Well, yeah, he's going to take you for a ride, all right. Hollywood style.
Anyway, fans, before that interruption, we were discussing the Royal 4 match. And like I said, the first 4 entrants were Amish Assassin, Maze, Carlos D'Angelo, and BTY Colby Godwin. Like I said, Invasion was in it. Pretty much the entire Ultimate Wrestling roster, as far as I could tell. But in the end, the final 4 were BTY Colby Godwin, Death Row, Joe Gibson, and the Black Wolf. And so automatically right there, each one of those individuals received a 1-year extension on their contract. And to his credit, BTY was one of the first 4 in and was a part of the final 4.
And after a physically grueling I Respect match with Bobby Dahl, one of the first 4 in, and made it to the... Actually, he was with the final 2 against Death Row at the end.
Right.
So, you know, despite Mr. Cage's comments about BTY and everything, he showed why he is better than you and one of the up-and-coming young stars on the Gulf Coast by getting in there, because you put him, you know... Leave Black Wolf out of the equation. You have Death Row, a beast. You have Brutal Joe Gibson, a beast. And BTY, 3 large, physically strong, powerful guys beating each other's brains in. And, you know, BTY made it to the end before he succumbed to Death Row, who won the Royal 4 there and became the winner of the suitcase with the I get a chance at the title whenever I want to match thing, piece of paper, whatever, you know.
Right, and just for those interested, of the final 4, Joe Gibson eliminated the Black Wolf. Colby Godwin pinned Joe, and then of course it was Death Row and Colby, and like you said, Death Row picked up the Duke on that one. So fans, be looking for sometime in the future. Death Row is sure to cash in his title match, probably in the time most opportunistic for him. But does Death Row really need to be opportunistic? I mean,
no,
he's an animal.
He is the man.
Yes, he is. So once again, fans, if you missed this match, shame on you. You should have been there. Milton, Florida, Santa Rosa Auditorium. This was one of the epic ones, you know. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next match. And this was the end of the mini tournament, which pitted the Master of Devastation, Cameron Frost, against the Ultimate Wrestling champ, the former center, Nick Virtue. In the end, boy, I hate to say it, Cameron Frost won the Ultimate Wrestling title after 2 Omega Crushers to Nick Virtue.
And I was extremely happy, as Cameron Frost being my personal favorite wrestler on the Gulf Coast, and I predicted that he would win this title, just as I predicted that Death Row would win the Battle Royal and the Royal 4. Excellent match, Frost, Virtue, they went all out. And, you know, a lot of people, they don't like Nick Virtue, and they make comments about him, whatever. The man held the title for 315 days.
Might as well say a year.
A year. And defeated all comers. Now, you know, whether you agree with his methods or not, the bottom line is he was a winner, he was a champion, and at the end, he showed that he has virtue.
Yes, he did.
With a clean handshake and presented the belt to Cameron Frost.
That kind of took me by surprise, but, you know, it just goes to show you, Virtue, like you said, he's held the title for a year, and the way I see it, even the heart of a lion grows tired sometimes. And you said something in the last show about, you know, you can't stay at that level
exactly
forever. So hats off to Nick Virtue for carrying the gold that long, and hopefully, you know, the look on his face, he just seemed tired. He seemed a little, you know, I can't even express it. This is why, fans, you need to come see an Ultimate Wrestling show. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. But like I said, hopefully Nick Virtue will be back and back on top before too long, because I enjoy his matches. He always puts 110% into them. And on the flip side, Cameron Frost. Gotta love that he's the champion. You know, he puts on spectacular matches.
Absolutely. You know, maybe Brother Virtue's going to take a sabbatical or something, recharge the batteries, get in touch with his inner virtuous self or whatever. But I believe now that the era of devastation has begun, and Cameron Frost will show you why he's one of the most popular and talented wrestlers on the Gulf Coast at this time, and will be a very respectable and popular Ultimate Wrestling heavyweight champion.
Well, a couple of questions come to mind. First of all, you know, you mentioned something about the level of competition at Ultimate Wrestling.
Absolutely.
Cameron Frost is going to have a target on him from here on out, as long as he holds the strap. And another thing is, I don't think this business with him and Joe Gibson is done by any means. You know,
no, not at all.
Joe Gibson is always in contention for a title of some kind.
And he has been a former Ultimate Wrestling heavyweight champion.
That's true.
And as you said, this feud between him and Cameron Frost, I don't believe is over either, especially after Frost rendered him unconscious in the bracket for this tournament. I believe Joe Gibson's going to have a chip on his shoulder and show he has a lot to prove, and he's going to be a pissed off son of a bitch that he faded out and Frost, you know, got the opportunity, which he took advantage of, and is now your new Ultimate Wrestling heavyweight champion.
Joe, don't blame me.
Hey, Joe, Moose pissed.
So anyway, fans, your new Ultimate Wrestling champion is the Master of Devastation, Cameron Frost. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with our rating of the show, favorite matches, and whatever the hell else we can think of. Stick with us.
Hell yeah.